What's going on? Back at it with another one. Today's video is brought to you by a post on the forum Reddit. I did crop out the poster's handle because we'll leave him anonymous, but I think a lot of people will see themselves in this. Unfortunately, sexless marriages have become somewhat of a pandemic in the marriage society. So it starts off, I never thought I would end up where I am in my relationship with my wife. Her actions clearly show that she is completely unattracted to me and that I am being used for what I can provide to her and my child. Despite her assurances that she values and appreciates me for who I am, what I provide, what I sacrifice, etc., sex is dwindling, maybe twice a month, and there is rarely an act of passion from her. It is an act that she participates in, but is not necessarily present in. I understand this is called pity sex or obligation sex, and it is used to keep me strung along, so I will continue to provide without complaint. Passion, lust, and sex decrease about passion, lust, and sex decrease in the marriage, or so I'm told. Anxiety, stress, and anger control more and more of my mental space nowadays, and they are directed at her. But she isn't necessarily to blame. She's doing what women have done since the beginning of time. This is correct. She is using her sexual strategy to provide for herself and her child. The blame falls squarely on me. I really appreciate him doing this. I let her push her boundaries and didn't hold fast when they were completely crossed. In these instances, I actually provided more because I thought it would rein her back in and create more attraction. In reality, it incentivized her to push further and further, thereby killing more and more attraction when I refused to stand up and hold my ground. The process was gradual and slow, almost imperceptible, one small, seemingly inconsequential concession at a time. However, over time, it created a landslide. The realization, when it truly hits you, is life-shattering. You are not the man you thought you were. Your wife is not the woman she says she is. Your relationship is on the brink of disaster, and you are the only one to blame. Now, let's start at the root. Okay. Obviously, the attraction for the husband from the wife is either on low or on empty. That's already been established. Now, what I love is the fact that despite his feelings of anger and resentment toward his wife, he knows that the source of the problem is within him. This is something that a lot of men in sexless marriages tend to overlook. I don't know if it's a lack of accountability. I don't know if it's just, the resentment of not getting it, making you feel like it's the woman's fault. But you see, what you have to understand is, he didn't say how long they were married, but depending on how long you were married, depending on the circumstances that were at hand when you first met, like if you can look in the mirror and honestly evaluate yourself, right? And if you're not where you were when you met, what would lead you to expect that your wife would still be highly attracted to you? You know what I mean? Like, men have to take accountability for some of this stuff. Now, he understands that he has been playing the beta male provider role and she has been the recipient. And now he's probably getting more sex than most guys in a sexless marriage. He said he's getting sex about twice a month. There's probably some guys that's not even getting that, but that's still not good at all. I'm just saying he's probably still getting it more than some guys that may even be listening to this, right? Now, this is where the contradiction is. He knew what the problem was, which means he probably knows how to fix it. So either he refuses to or he's afraid to. He knew and knows that the fact that he's giving into her uncontested, that's probably killing the attraction even more. But instead of doing what he knows he should do and do the opposite of what he's been doing, he said he did more. He did more of the beta male providing. He did more of the quote unquote tending to her needs, and it pushed her away even further. Fellas, there comes a point where you have to read between the lines and understand that what they ask for is not always what they truly want. This is why I always say, be the husband that she needs and not the husband that she quote unquote wants. Fellas, if this wasn't for you, it was probably for somebody that you know. So please share, like, comment, and subscribe.